have already understood the 8 key factors that are required to understand your strength and weakness. But as I said to you, the self-discovery part of it is extremely important. Why is it important? Because self-discovery will emulate your strength as well as your weaknesses. You will be able to understand what are the facets that build strength in your character and what are the facets that are actually your weakness. In between these two extremes lies our passions. What are passions? Passions are nothing but a reflection of your own value system. A value system which has been given to you right from the time you have been born. It comes from our parents. It comes from the schools. It comes from our peers, from our friends, from our social interactions. And somewhere there is a small little idealism that develops into it. This value also somewhere gets reflected onto our passions. So our passion is what actually drives us in our life. Discovering yourself is extremely important for creating your own personal brand. Because a personal brand is a very personal statement. It has to speak about you. It has to speak authentically about you. The story that you narrate to the world has to be extremely relatable and understandable. People should be eager to listen to you. People should understand that there is a lot of meaningful depth in what you are or what you stand for. So, your personal branding comes out of your entire being. It comes from the strength of your character. It comes from the strength of your personality. It comes from your convictions. It comes from your confidence. All these parameters, when they are put together, translates to reflect your personal brand. Let us say, if we get into an office room, around a round meeting table, there are about 6 to 7 people sitting, and you are the 8th one who is joining the meeting. And the entire team is waiting for the 9th individual to come in and address. It could also be a situation where this 9th gentleman is the head of an organization, or for that matter, she is heading the particular meeting that is just about to begin. And you are amongst the other 8 who are sitting on the table. What happens then? Within a second, the human brain actually scans through and finds out, oh, right now all 8 of us are sitting here. We are here to listen to each other's point of view. We are here to present. And the mind starts calculating, how can I do my best out here? How can I be best than the rest of all here? Hence, we are also trying to understand how I can compete with the other 7 in the room. Of course, we compete, but very, very positively. If you are able to understand how you are going to present yourself because of the strengths that you possess, it becomes immediately a wonderful presentation. Because of your conviction, because of your confidence, because of your value system that you drive at work and stand tall and proud about it. So, dear friends, understanding your strength is one of the most important X factors to build your personal brand. I will be sharing some exercises for you. You could go ahead and fill in those exercise sheets for you to understand what is your X factor. For example, many of us could be very good in lot of desk works. Let us say converting figures into visuals, what we know today as data visualization, or for that matter, doing a presentation, writing and designing an entire portfolio, or for that matter, comprehending a report, putting a report together, or doing pure design work, pure animations, graphics, all of this, one needs to sit at a desk and do their work. On the other hand, some of us must be extremely good at communication. Communication of addressing a large crowd, of being able to talk smoothly, or some of us are gifted with the power of interacting with people, understanding people, being there with them when they are in need of somebody to stand by them. Two very different kinds of characteristics, isn't it? But these could be our strengths. So write down, honestly, sincerely, what are your strengths? Put it down. Writing it down, journaling it down helps us identify our own selves. What are those first 10 strong points that characterize you as a particular personality? At the same time, dwell upon what is your weakness. Weaknesses could be of many types. Simple weakness could be not being able to stand up in front of a few people, being afraid of being judged, being afraid of your own body personality, being afraid of being laughed at, not being able to take positive criticism, extremely high moral issues. Many of this eventually become our weak points. If I want to understand what are my weak points or what are my positive points, it is best addressed with the help of writing them down, putting them down together. So, the personal brand that one develops over a period of time is almost like our visiting card. It should be so transparent and perfectly communicated that the moment anybody sees your visiting card, they can make out, hey, what kind of a person you are. For example, I could be a professor of marketing, but I'd also love to be known as a personal branding coach. And that should be very evident from my own persona as well as my visiting card. Your personal brand will define your individuality. It has to maximize your strength. The moment it starts maximizing your strength, it will open doors for further future opportunities. So build around your X factor. X factor is your strength and skills. I once again repeat, there will be sheets which you can fill up for yourself, honestly, sincerely, and brutally. Compile them together, put them together, get into a very serious read. Visit your own self to understand your strength as well as your weakness. Question is, why do I need to visit my own self? Many times it is seen that what we think about ourselves is not exactly what the world thinks about ourselves. What we perceive is our strength is not what the world perceives as our strength. Now herein comes the mismatch or the gap. It is extremely necessary for us to close this gap. If you think that your personality has the strength of communicating fluently with anybody on any topic at any point, at any place, with anybody, it says that you have got a wonderful vocabulary with you. It says you are not afraid of public spaces. It says that you have got a huge repository of information with you. It says that you are a voracious reader. When you connect all these dots, it becomes your communication strength. Now, this is what you think. But does the world also think the same way? We need to categorically find out whether what we perceive is our strength is truly our strength as perceived by everybody else in the society. Thereby, what is needed is the feedback loop. Activate your feedback loop. Never be afraid. Never feel uncomfortable to take feedback from peers, from friends, from people whom you feel they could be your mentors. It is necessary for us to understand that the strength on which our character or your character, your brand is being built is perceived exactly similarly as you want it to be perceived by the world outside. This is somewhat like the world of brands or the world of advertising. The brand wants the world to perceive itself as a particular factor. Let us take the example of Nike. Nike wants that the whole world must perceive shoes from Nike are meant for athletes. Then their communication to the world must address that particular factor. And that is what exactly Nike has been doing consistently over the past few decades. They promote athletes, they promote athletic ventures, their visual parameters promote athletics and athletes. Thereby, the world starts understanding that Nike promotes athletes. Now, if that is the case for a global brand like Nike, then a mere individual like me and you need to talk to the world about our strengths. And we need to talk to our world about our strengths consistently, yet very, very subtly. Stating it very loudly in a room, or trying to be overconfident about our strengths, or trying to overpower others will only work against us. So it is necessary that we all create our factors that relate to strength. Write down our strengths. Find out whether the world also thinks the same way. If it is not thinking the same way, then let us start taking feedbacks about our strength. Chisel them down and work towards it. Your strengths are your skill sets. Anything you want. Anything could be a skill set, from writing to writing a poem, to writing a prose, to writing content, to be great at photography, to do videography, content creation, visualization, strategic thinking, design thinking, and the world goes on. But we need to get there. Similarly, we need to do the exercise with our own weakness also. We need to identify our weakness. Let us put down what we feel our weaknesses are. Let us try to close the gap between the weaknesses that we have. Let us see that the strengths are put forward much strongly and much subtly to the world. Let us try to bring down the decibels of our weakness. Where does our value system come here? In between the strength and the weakness, where does the value system come? Let us say in an office, somebody is in trouble. Not everybody rushes to help that person. you will hardly find a couple of people volunteering immediately to go and stand by that individual's side and tell, hey, what happened to you? Can I help you? Should I come back to you? Should I take you somewhere? Do you need a medical help? Can I call up somebody at your home? All these questions that come automatically to that one person from the crowd who runs to help the person talks volumes about that person's value system. Values are something that we grow up with. Many of us have a lot of value for Mother Earth. We have value for little children. We have value for helping people whenever they are in need. We all have a set of values to ourselves. Many of us do not love to waste food at all. We have a set of values where we keep on switching off lights whenever we see it is being used unnecessarily. And it comes to us very, very naturally. Nobody tells us to do it, but we do it on our own, right? We are somebody who goes all the way proactively and says, hey, let me do it. When you take such proactive steps, dear friend, that time it shows through your personality about your value system. Then your values are your passion. Your value is to stand by truly to your character. That somewhere is the shining edge to yourself. Thereby, understanding your strength and your weakness, in between these eccentricities lies the strong pillar of values. The moment we come to know what am I truly, and I'm able to identify with that, and I'm able to tell myself, yes, this is what I am, then it becomes your X factor. Your X factor needs to be shining and bright. Once you have done that, you have crossed the first step of doing a beautiful, of creating a beautiful personal brand to yourself. As Oscar Wilde once said, be yourself, everyone else is taken.